Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, My So-Called Healthy Life. Okay, welcome to day 2 of the Dream Life Project. Are you guys ready? Did you do your assignment from yesterday? So if you're watching these, it's really important if you're participating in this whole Dream Life Project. It's really important that you don't move on to the next day until you've done the day before assignments, because it really won't make any sense in the long run. So if you're just watching them to watch them, that's totally cool too. But if you're participating in it, you want to get your notebook out. You want to make sure that you've done your assignments from the day before, because I'm going to ask you to reflect back on those assignments, if that makes sense. Okay. So today, I'm going to do something a little bit easier, because, I just sat down and I actually did all of the assignments that we're going to do, and it literally took me, less than 10 minutes to do the assignments, not even, maybe 5. So I want to share them with you, but every day I want to make sure that you go back to like the first day of those like realistic, goals that we set for ourselves, and kind of ask yourself, okay, how well have you done today on that? And I want you also to, and be realistic with yourself. Like, okay, one of my goals is that I'm going to get up and I'm going to take a shower every day, do my hair, and you can see that did not happen today. Today has been a rush job for Peter Monn. I got up, I had some appointments I had to go to, and then I had to go to my nephew's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and it's just been one thing after another. So, and I'm like, I have to go home and make videos, and so I never did get to take a shower today. That is my goal, to take a shower before I go to bed. So I will achieve that, but it didn't happen before I wanted it to, if that makes sense. Because my goal is to like get up, take a shower right before I go do anything else for the day. But so let's look at where we're at today. Yesterday I had you make a list of 10 dream jobs that you had as a child. And then I also had you make a list of 5 jobs or careers that you wanted to pursue since you've been an adult. Did you guys do that? Okay. So what I want you to do is, I want you to go into the first part where you were a child, and I want you to look at kind of like the common themes that are there, if that makes sense. So like, I'll just give you an example. And I added this one later last night, but I was driving around and I was vlogging, because I talk about a lot of this stuff on my vlog too. And I was thinking about like when I used to watch older movies when I was a kid with my mom, and I always wanted to be a costume designer. And so, detective too. I forgot about detective. I'm gonna add that on there. You can have as many as you want. So anyway, I don't know why detective is important, because I love investigations, I guess. But if you look at the common thread of mine between like, soap opera writer, book writer, actor, movie star, they're all of them almost creative or artistic kind of like dream jobs, if that makes sense. So the common thread would be that they're creative, or they kind of like come with some kind of fame, if that makes sense. And I do think that that's important, because I think that that kind of like fame, attention, it says something about who I am as a person. And, I think that in our society, those people that like want fame or they want to be noticed, like we think that's a bad thing, when I actually think it is not a bad thing at all. I actually think it's a really good thing. I think what it says is, that I want some validation for the things that I do. And, maybe it's a good sign of where you were before when you were growing up. Like you didn't get validation for certain things that you did. And, from my mom and dad and my close family, I got a lot of validation from, but from people at school and things like that, no, I didn't. And I was the kid that never fit in. I was the kid that, nobody noticed me. I was the kid that if they noticed me, they only noticed me to put me down. So, I think fame is the equalizer for that. So it would totally make sense that my childhood dreams would be things that had, as a result, positive fame. Does that make sense? Kind of like, see, I made it, that kind of attitude. And maybe that, on a subconscious level, is what it is for me. And then I want you to go into your dream jobs that you've had as an adult and see what the common theme is for those. And like for mine, it was TV, movie actor, writer, screenplay, stand-up comedian, singer, motivational speaker. And, the same thing for me is that they're all creative, but they're all entertaining. And I thought that was interesting, that like it shifted kind of like to a very more specific goal, that I want to be like an entertainer. Like I want to make other people laugh. I want to make other people happy, if that makes sense. And I think that, those of us that have been through our own self-turmoil or tragedy want to please others or make them happy. So I think that makes a lot of sense, And then I want you to, go underneath there, and I want you to see as an adult and as a child, like what your top picks were. So if you go to my number one top pick as a child, I put down and what I mean by top pick is what's the first thing you wrote down? Because typically when I have you do a list, the first thing that you write is either the thing that's right there at the tip of your head, or it's the thing that you want to do the most. And for me, it's interesting because the first thing was soap opera writer, and the second thing was a book writer. And, obviously I write today. And so then the second thing was actor, entertainer. And, it's like, okay, so now we have kind of siphoned the dream career down into trying to figure out what it is I really want to do. And I think when I look at that, what it is that if I could have my dream life, right, that I would write scripts, write books, and also be some kind of entertainer, whether it be a comedian or, doing TV shows or having my own TV show or be in movies or something like that. Like that would be the dream job for me, the dream career, right? So it's not like tomorrow I'm going to go sign up and get my SAG card and then all of a sudden I'll be in movies. But at least I now kind of have a realistic idea that, yes, I would like to be a movie actor. I'd like to be a TV actor. I'd like to be a stand-up comedian. There's nothing wrong with, sitting there and saying that. So then, did you do your gratitudes? Did you do your bucket list? Those things are very, very important because they keep the dreaming alive, and the bucket list keeps the dreaming alive. The gratitude list makes you thankful and gives you a foundation for what you already have in your life, right? Okay. So the third thing that we're going to do today is once you've got your kind of picks of what you want. And for those of us that already kind of know what our dream job is, let me just be really honest with you, okay? My dream job is that I would love to be like a New York Times best-selling author. That every book that I put out was very much like a John Green or I don't necessarily want to be like James Patterson, but of that level, And that I just was so excited about writing the next book that I couldn't wait to put it out because it would be a bestseller. And the reason why I say bestseller is just because I would like it to do very, very well, that a lot of people would want to read it. There's nothing wrong with wanting there's nothing wrong with wanting other people to enjoy your craft. And that doesn't mean that you can't be humble in that. It just means that, you would like to get noticed for what you love doing. And I think that's very positive, okay? So you got to ask yourself then, and the reason I'm talking a lot about the side pieces that go along with it, like the fame, the need for attention, all those kinds of things, because they are going to read into what we're doing today. So as you're going through that, look at the common subliminal themes that you're seeing from that. So for example, okay, you see that mine are very fame-seeking kind of things that I needed, right? But as a child, if you wanted to be a veterinarian or a doctor or a nurse, and let's say those were your top 5 jobs, then the common theme to that would be that you always wanted to be in the helping medical profession, right? But then maybe a side piece to that would be why are you always helping others? Why do you need to be a giver? Does that make sense? What does that say about your soul of who you are as a person? A lot of times we have to understand that before we can achieve our dream, right? Because if my dream is really, since I use this as an example, fame, then would I be willing to do anything to get there? I would not, okay? There are certain things that I am not willing to do to just get ultimate fame, right? I want to get there by keeping my integrity, by staying humble and doing the things that are true to myself. And, it's the same thing with helping other people. I mean, you can help other people by helping them be a bank robber, or you can help them by being a nurse. Those are two completely different ways of helping somebody. Does that make sense? So the next thing that we're going to do, and this is your assignment for today, is we're going to look at our fears associated with our dreams. And if you don't think you have them, you do. And what that means is, what are your fears about wanting to accomplish your dream, if that makes sense? I say that all the time, if that makes sense. So what fears do you have in your head when you think about your dream? And mine are that it's unrealistic. I'm never going to win an Oscar or be in a movie. It's just never going to happen, right? That's what my mind tells me. Number 2, that everyone will make fun of me, because that's what's happened the majority of my life. Whenever I pursue something that I love, people put me down. When I was growing up and I was making clothes for my friends in high school, everybody laughed. Oh, you want to be a fashion designer? Yes, I wanted to be a fashion designer. There's nothing funny about that. Had I pursued it, I could be today's, Zach Posen or somebody like that. I'm not, because I didn't pursue it, because I allowed my fear and what other people said about me to get in the way of that. And you can't, what other people say about us is none of our business. You cannot let that stop you, okay? Number 3, that I'm not good enough. So I hear this in my head, and that's where my lack of confidence and self-worth comes in. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to be a good enough writer. I'm not going to be a good enough actor. I'm not going to be a good enough, this or that. And so that feeds into that. Does that make sense? Number 4, it's too hard. This is a big one. This is one that kept me from writing a book for years and years and years, is that I told myself it's too hard. I'm never going to write 300-page book. There's no way, right? And I literally wrote my book in 3 weeks. And I think kind of like the reason I'm proud of that is that I proved to myself that I could do it. Like I could write a book in 3 weeks. Imagine if you gave me 6 months, like this time that I've been working on my book, or next time, like if I had a lot more time, what could I do with it? So it's not that it's too hard at all. That's just what our head tells us, because if we have these fears and we feed into these fears, then it stops the dream from happening before we ever get there. And then number 5, people say, I can't do it. And that is the biggest fear of mine, or fear realization that I've had to fight, but that has really helped me achieve my dreams the most, is when people say he can't do it, or he's stupid, or he's foolish, or they put me down, or they make fun of me, or they say anything negative about me. Those things I have learned to turn into motivation. And now, if there's something that I really want to do, and somebody out there, I don't even care who they are, says I can't do it, watch out. Trust, it will be the next thing that I do. So you have to take your fears, and what I want you to do is I want you to write all of your fears down, and then the opposite of that is I want you to turn it into like a strength. Does that make sense? So when I say it's unrealistic, the strength part to that, the asset to that would be, says who? There are a lot of people that are doing this dream that are national bestsellers. There are a lot of people with a lot less talent than I have that have national bestsellers and that are actors and actresses and all this kind of stuff. Let's just be for real. But not that I'm that great. I'm just saying, that there are people out there that are not that highly talented, right? So does it mean that it takes talent just to have those jobs? And then you sit back and you look at that and you go, okay, now my world just widened up, right? It doesn't necessarily take talent. Maybe it takes who you know. Maybe it takes being committed to your craft on a daily basis and being artistically engaged in that. Maybe it takes, believing in yourself. Maybe it takes hard work, because I'm a big believer in hard work. And all of that. And if I do those things, then maybe my dreams will come true. And so my world starts to open a little bit bigger. So go to each of your fears, write the fears down, and then write the opposite. Because I'm a believer that the opposite of everything is true. So those are your assignments for today. Look back, see if you're doing your realistic goals for the day. I didn't clean out anything in my house, and I didn't take a shower today, so I didn't do very good on that, but tomorrow I'm very hopeful. And then I also want you to make sure you did your 5 bucket list things and your 10 gratitudes. I already did mine today. Pizza's on there. But anyway, are you having fun with this? Are you guys enjoying this? Get ready, because it's about to get deep. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.